The financial secrets of hundreds of world leaders, politicians, and celebrities has been exposed in another huge leak of financial documents dubbed the Pandora Papers. It features almost 12 million files from companies providing offshore services in tax havens around the world. The files are the latest in a series of whistleblower-led investigations that have rocked the world of finance in recent years. So let's round up the other major leaks of the past decade. In September 2020, the FinCEN Files exposed the failure of major global banks to stop money laundering and financial crime. They also revealed how the UK is often the weak link in the financial system and how London is awash with Russian cash. The files included more than 2,000 suspicious activity reports, filed by financial institutions to the Financial Crimes Enforcement Agency, or FinCEN, a part of the U.S. Treasury Department. They also include 17,641 records obtained through Freedom of Information requests and other sources. A huge batch of leaked documents, mostly from offshore law firm Appleby, along with corporate registries in 19 tax jurisdictions, which revealed the financial dealings of politicians, celebrities, corporate giants, and business leaders.
Until Pandora, this leak was seen as the daddy of them all in data size. If you thought the WikiLeaks dump of sensitive diplomatic cables in 2010 was a big deal, this carried 1,500 times more data. The Panama Papers came about after an anonymous source contacted reporters at German newspaper Süddeutsche Zeitung in 2015 and supplied encrypted documents from the Panamanian law firm Mossack Fonseca. It sells anonymous offshore companies that help the owners hide their business dealings. After more than a year of scrutiny, the ICIJ and its partners jointly published the Panama Papers on the 3rd of April, 2016, with a database of documents going online a month later. Who was named? Where do we start? A few of the news partners focused on how associates of Russian President Vladimir Putin shuffled cash around the globe. Not that the Russians cared much. The prime ministers of Iceland and Pakistan came to far stickier ends, the former quitting and the latter being thrown out of office by the Supreme Court. Overall, the financial dealings of a dozen current and former world leaders, more than 120 politicians and public officials, and countless billionaires, celebrities and sports stars were exposed. Who leaked the data? John Doe. Yes, we know. It's not a real name. In US crime series, it is mostly used to label anonymous victims, but Mr. Doe's manifesto, released a month after publication, reveals a self-styled revolutionary. The real identity is still unknown. 5 months after the Panama Papers, the ICIJ published revelations from the Bahamas corporate registry. The 38 gigabytes cache revealed the offshore activities of prime ministers, princes and convicted felons, it said. Former EU Competition Commissioner Nelly Kroes admitted an oversight in failing to disclose her interest in an offshore company. It focused on HSBC Private Bank, a subsidiary of the banking giant, and so lifted the lid on dealings in a country where banking secrecy is taken for granted. The leaked files covered accounts up to the year 2007, linked with more than 100,000 individuals and legal entities from more than 200 countries. The ICIJ said the subsidiary had served those close to discredited regimes and clients who had been unfavorably named by the United Nations. HSBC admitted that the compliance culture and standards of due diligence at the subsidiary at the time were lower than they are today. Who was named? The ICIJ said HSBC had profited from arms dealers, bagmen for third world dictators, traffickers in blood diamonds and other international outlaws. It also cited those close to the regimes of former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak, former Tunisian President Ben Ali and Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad. Who leaked the data? Actually, we know this one. The ICIJ investigation was based on data originally leaked by the French-Italian software engineer and whistleblower Hervé Falciani, though the ICIJ got it later from another source. From 2008 onwards, he passed information on HSBC Private Bank to French authorities, who in turn passed them to other relevant governments. Mr. Falciani was indicted in Switzerland. He was held in detention in Spain but was later released and now lives in France. Or LuxLeaks for short. Another extensive ICIJ investigation, which revealed its findings in November 2014. It centered on how professional services company PricewaterhouseCoopers helped multinational companies gain hundreds of favorable tax rulings in Luxembourg between 2002 and 2010. The ICIJ said multinationals had saved billions by channeling money through Luxembourg, sometimes at tax rates of less than 1%. One address in Luxembourg was home to more than 1,600 companies, it said. The leak of documents was first exposed in 2012 after a joint investigation between Panorama and France 2, which lifted the lid on the tax agreements of UK pharmaceutical giant GlaxoSmithKline and media company Northern & Shell. Who was named. Pepsi, IKEA, AIG and Deutsche Bank were among those named. A second tranche of leaked documents said the Walt Disney Co. and Skype had funneled hundreds of millions of dollars in profits through Luxembourg subsidiaries. They and the other firms denied any wrongdoing. Jean-Claude Juncker had been PM of Luxembourg when it enacted many of its tax avoidance rules. He had been appointed President of the European Commission just a few days before the leak came out. He said he had not encouraged avoidance. Eurosceptics went to town and pushed a censure motion against him and his commission. It was rejected. But the EU did investigate, and by 2016 had proposed a yet-to-be-realised common tax scheme for the EU. Who leaked the data? Frenchman Antoine Deltour, a former PricewaterhouseCoopers employee, was the main man, saying he had acted in the public interest. Another PwC employee, Raphael Haylett, helped him. The pair, along with journalist Admar Perrin, were all charged in Luxembourg after a PwC complaint. A first verdict was later revisited, watering down sentences, with Deltour given a 6-month suspended jail term which was later quashed. Haylett received a small fine and Mr. Perrin was acquitted. This was about a tenth of the size of the Panama Papers but was seen as the biggest exposé of international tax fraud ever when the ICIJ and its news partners went public in November 2012 and April 2013. Some 2.5 million files reveal the names of more than 120,000 companies and trusts in hideaways such as the British Virgin Islands and the Cook Islands.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe